Good morning, viewers. I'm Queennesha Altius from ALSA TV will report today's headline news. Ever since the 20th century, English has been the dominant language in international communication. Over 300 million people speak English as a native language. Another 300 million people speak it as a second language. And millions of others speak it as a foreign language. In total, there are about 1 billion people across the globe who have knowledge of English. English is considered as a ticket to better career, education, and communication. No wonder that musicians and filmmakers release their work in English to reach the largest possible audience, multinational companies advertise English, and politicians around the world speak English to maintain peace in the international relations. Take for example, the United Nations has many agencies with more than one language used for transaction. But English is still the most preferred language of communication among the members. As English becoming an international language and people shall master the basics, provokes parents in Indonesia to educate their children in all aspects of life by using English, and compete to teach their children to be fluent in English from an early age. Some parents believe that their children need to use English to compete international. They even worry if their children cannot communicate in English, they will be left behind and will not able responding to the global challenges. Many people assume when their children can communicate better using English, their life will be easily promoted in the international sphere. Thus, instead of putting aside the Indonesian language, it will gradually diminish all culture entertained on it. The ability of the children to speak English is not only to add a sense of satisfaction for the child himself, but it also considered to add to the pride of the parents to indicate that their children are smart. Parents who have this mindset and way of educating usually enroll their children to the international schools. Even though at the schools, Bahasa Indonesia is a mandatory lesson, applying the language in everyday life does not receive special attention, which makes students ignore the use of bahasa in their daily basis conversations. The impact of this problem is children have lost their national identity and they are unfamiliar with the local language and its culture. This phenomenon does not occur only among children. This case is more rampant among teenagers, especially Gen Z and Gen Alpha, because they live in an era of technological development that penetrates various cultures into ours. It will spontaneously impact to a cultural shift and putting aside the Indonesian language. To some extent, the entry of foreign cultures into Indonesia, starting from the way of dressing, music, language, and even more to their interest in learning and deepening Indonesian culture, has become less. And they prefer to learn foreign languages or English, which they consider cooler. Therefore, they rarely use standard Indonesian in their daily lives. Bahasa Indonesia is rarely used among the circle of Generation Z due to its technology developments that allow people to access English more in regular basis. Apart from developments over time, another reason is using Indonesian in everyday conversations gives the impression of being stiff and too formal, so they often use English for everyday conversation. Even some of them assume that studying Indonesian in deeper level is not important and there is no benefit. No wonder they prefer to learn English, which will be useful later in their future. It shows clearly how the Gen Z's lack of awareness in using Indonesian becomes vital influence in today's era, in which it's very unfortunate because Gen Z is expected to be the nation's successor in expanding the language of their country. Apart from language, Gen Z also doesn't care about Indonesian culture. This is caused by young people's interest in foreign culture, which they think is more modern than Indonesian culture. Indirectly, culture that transferred over generation will be suddenly disappeared. The extinction of the culture that should have been developed by the current generation will result in the loss of Indonesia's own characteristics and specialties. Due to the extinction of our culture, the characteristic of our country could be claimed by the other countries. For example, wayang kulit or leather puppet and the national anthem Halo Halo Bandung, which are the culture of this country, have been claimed by Malaysia. This shall be evaluated seriously to preserve our country's culture. Reversely, many foreign tourists are studying traditional arts and culture, which according to the younger generation is not trendy and seems old-fashioned. In contrast to foreign tourists who think it is unique, even many of them willing to travel far from their home countries to learn our culture and its heritage in Indonesia. Research shows that using the culture promotion is startling to reveal the culture diffusion process as they relate to sustainability issues made by young generation. Being future successor of the nation, we must maintain Indonesian language and its culture. Later, this language and culture will be passed on to the next generation so that they can preserve it. This action shows the concern of Generation Z and Generation Alpha in maintaining Indonesian language skill amidst the many foreign language influences that have influenced our unique characteristics. Provoking awareness for not to worry about looking old-fashioned or outdated is also needed to socialize among the nation as a symbol that we are proud to be Indonesian. Alright viewers, this is all our headlines today. I'm Queennesha Altius and I will keep updating you with the current news, or you can visit our website at www.alsatv.com to get more information of our headlines. Thank you for watching and have a good day.